Pisces. Welcome to your full moon in Gemini tarot reading. My name is Natasha, also known as Nourish Natasha. Greetings from my living room. If you see people back there, it's just Freddie and Pennywise. Beetlejuice is over there, you know. Yeah, it is the Gemini full moon. It is the last full moon of the year, so it is a big one. And look, I just cut, I cannot make this up. I just cut the deck, and who is on either side but the moon and the sun? And that is literally all about what this full moon is about. If you hear like snorts in the background, it's just my dog Jack going crazy, making a nest in his bed. But that's what this entire full moon is all about. It is in Gemini, and that is all about duality, the sun and the moon, the light and the dark, lunar, solar, shadow and light. Also in the tarot, the lovers and the devil. This is the Way Home Tarot, but in a traditional Rider-Waite deck, the lovers, which is the card of Gemini, and the devil are like mirror images of each other. That is the vibe of this full moon in Gemini. So I'm going to start shuffling, but I think that's very interesting. Yeah, it is the night between December 7th and 8th. It's going to be an intense one. Again, last full moon of the year. Gemini is the twins. Shadow work has been the name of the game lately. I'm doing a shadow work journaling challenge here in my YouTube membership. So if you're not there, all you gotta do is hit the join button. You'll get access to that, access to a ton of yoga challenges, yoga videos, live yoga, live tarot, live new moon and full moon workshops. It's only $9.99 a month. If you want to start your new year, I just literally shuffled and like didn't even shuffle. If you want to start your new year off right, come join us. I'll be doing a yoga challenge in January actually. And there's also 2 yoga challenges already pre-recorded there in the membership for you. So that's 60 yoga classes that you get instant access to. It's one of my hairs like lingering in this deck. And who's that? That's the Fool lurking at the bottom of the deck now. But yeah, this full moon is all about shadow work. Honoring your human side is what I wrote, knowing that we all have a shadow. We also have a Mars retrograde happening in Gemini right now, so it's very explosive. Like, communication has just been, everyone's been angry. And of course, because, you know, the world is on fire, everyone is angry. But this full moon is going to give you that kind of vehicle to release. I wrote release before you explode and get things off your chest. Gemini rules the throat chakra, and the body Gemini rules everything we have 2 of in the upper body. So arms, wrists, shoulders, lungs. Take that like deep sigh, like release what you need to release. Release before you explode, get it off your chest. Use this full moon to release all the nonsense from the past year. Again, this is the last full moon of 2022. And 2022 has been a doozy, my friends. So again, this is a collective reading, so this is for whoever has made it here. You are in the collective. Welcome. I set the intention that this finds who it needs to find. But yeah, we're using Way Home Tarot, my most favorite tarot deck, and then Visions from a Liminal Space Oracle. Oh, my table's shaking. To clarify. Aggressively hydrate, lurking at the bottom. If you have water, take a sip of water with me. Stay hydrated. I feel like moistening that like throat chakra. I lose my voice all the time as a yoga teacher, tarot reader, influencer. I'm talking all the time. My voice goes all the time, and I need to like work on that. My setup here, I have some new crystals. I have this, I believe it's called Spectralite. It's like a cousin of Labradorite. You can kind of see the flash. It's a spider. It's so cute. I also have a moon, a black obsidian moon. We love to see it. And lots of like dark crystals. Maybe I'm feeling the protection, and a black obsidian tower. These are all from Queendom Cultivation. They're my #1 crystal resource. Definitely go to them for your crystals. But let's see what comes up here. What's going on for this full moon in Gemini? Spirit, what is happening? What is going on? What do we need to know for the rest of the year? This last full moon of the year. Take a deep breath for me. I had a card fly out, and you know what? I'm here for it. Yeah, definitely. Ooh, duality showing up here for sure. All right, we have the Emperor lurking at the bottom of the deck. I kind of had a feeling he was going to come out. And look who's, oh my God, it's like I can't even make up like the duality of this. Like we have the sun and the moon already at the bottom. And now look at that. The Empress is right behind the Emperor. Do you see the duality here? Do you see this is a heart growing a tree? This is a brain growing a tree. Love, creation, divine feminine, boss, masculine, thinking with your head, thinking with your heart, duality. We need both of these energies to function. We need to embody both of these energies to live. It's human and natural and normal to have both. They might be maybe different levels of both, but we all have both. So I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see what's going on here. All right, the card that flew out was the Six of Cups. That was the one that flew out. In the position of past, we have the Six of Swords and the Ace of Cups. Present is the Two of Cups and Justice. I mean, look at this. Duality, okay? Duality. And in the position of future, we have the Four of Pentacles and the Father of Pentacles. And like I said, at the bottom of the deck, again, duality, light and dark, lunar, solar, masculine, feminine, black and white, all that. All right, so what is happening here? My camera keeps shaking. I apologize for that. Usually it's on a tripod, but my tripod broke. So we're on just like a stack of books right now, but we're going to deal with it. So the Six of Cups was the card that flew out of the deck. You can see here, it is very like, I think it's like butterfly tea in this picture, but there's a little butterfly. The cups are pink, very sweet energy. The Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia, which I feel like it's kind of encouraging us to look on the sweet parts of this past year, because the past year was rough. We all know it was rough. For me, it was pretty terrible. But I have been so hyper-focused on like the bad or the negative things that I kind of forgot like the good positive things that have happened this year. I bought my dream car. I moved into my dream space. I've hosted my dream retreats. I've gone to Salem for a retreat. I went to Joshua Tree for a retreat. If you'd like to join me in Salem and Joshua Tree next year, I only have a few spots left for the next Witchcraft and Wellness retreats. I would love to see you there. But I have there's been a lot of sweet, good things that have happened in this past year. And I think we need to remind ourselves of those things, but not dismissing the bad things that happened, right? Again, but there can be both. There can be light and dark, right? So in the position of past, we have the Six of Swords and the Ace of Cups. And I think that just goes to show that we have been kind of working on letting go in the recent past. And how have we done that, right? You can see the Six of Swords here is literally swords turning into flowers, and the Ace of Cups. How have we begun to move on? The Six of Swords is about migration, moving forward, moving on, you know, moving to a different kind of place mentally. And how have we turned our swords into flowers? By tapping into our emotions, right? Emotional healing, Ace of Cups, you know, that's water energy. There's a lot of water energy here, a lot of water and earth energy. And that's kind of how we done it. Or if you haven't done it, that's how you do it, is through emotional healing. Is through feeling your feels. I know we don't like to do it. We're like, no, I don't want to. But for me, it's been like almost uncontrollable. Like, I don't consider myself a person that cries a lot. But in the recent past, I've been crying a lot. I literally put on all the Lord of the Rings extended editions and just like cried my way through all of them. I've been listening to, there's a channel here on YouTube called Ambient Worlds that has like a Shire ambient thing that I work to, and I'm just like crying, like I don't know why. It just brings up, as I'm talking about water, my dog's drinking water. Like, it's time to cry. It's time to tap into those emotions, tap into the water energy so you can turn those swords into flowers. It's easier said than done, right? A lot of us, I feel like a lot of the stuff I was releasing is stuff that's been pent up for a very long time, and it's just now coming out. And sometimes you feel like you need to cry, but you can't. My recommendation is put on something that you know will make you cry. Kind of like force the cry, right? Whether it's music or a movie or reading a book or something that's going to get that get that water to kind of flow, you got to do it. At least that's what has worked for me. Or, go to therapy. That's good too. In the position of present, now we have the Two of Cups. So what comes after the Ace of Cups is the Two of Cups and Justice. This is balance. So if we can process through, our pain, we can turn our swords into flowers, we're going to kind of reach that kind of dual nature. The Two of Cups is the baby card to the lovers, so it could be a new romantic offer, a new friendship coming in. But I see it more so here is, again, that emotional healing. Like now that it's kind of like the second step to the Ace of Cups, right? We kind of started the emotional healing process, and now we're going into kind of like the second stage. So maybe it's kind of more deep in the feels. It's like you kind of just getting deeper than like the surface level of the feels, right? Getting really deep in there and bringing things into balance. I feel like really bringing things into the light. I mean, you can kind of see here, there's light and dark, while Justice obviously is about justice, card of Libra, card of balance. I really see here like bringing what's in the dark to light. And what we forget about shadow work is that it's not about getting rid of your shadow. It's about loving your shadow. It's about kind of finding partnership with your shadow, understanding your shadow, accepting your shadow. And I really feel like that's kind of what's happening here. Like, it's acceptance. It is balance. It is duality. It is knowing that we have dual nature. That, I mean, I didn't even plan this. I got black and white nails. Look at that. Everything's coming together. Like, everything is screaming at us, balance and duality. Twos, right? Half and half. Black and white, light and dark. Like, we need to come into balance. We need to come into balance with ourselves, accept our shadow. Don't try to get rid of it. Don't try to force it away or force it down. We're all human. We all have a shadow. That's just how it is. You have a human side, and that's called all the stuff that you're like, no one's going to love me because X, Y, Z, because, I have these bad traits or bad things that I've done in the past. We have all done bad things in the past. Things that we're not proud of. We've all made mistakes. But if you've done the work and you've tried to rectify those mistakes, bring justice, bring balance in, the scales are going to balance. Or perhaps, like for me, I feel like karma is like coming through. Like if you've had people that have wronged you or, here's the thing is like every human being has a dark side, right? Every human being has that shadow. And when it comes to relationships and whether it's friendship, family, romantic, you have to accept that that other person also has a dark side. That person also has traits that are not bad, but just like that you don't like, right? Or whatever. And when you're going into a new contract, a new relationship, you have to ask yourself, can I accept their shadow? Like, is their shadow compatible with my shadow? Is the stuff that they do that maybe isn't like the best, can I handle it? And sometimes it's like, I don't know, it's hard for them to communicate, or they have trauma, or, they don't put the toilet seat down when they're done or whatever. And then, sometimes it's much worse stuff, like they're a cheater or they're a liar or whatever. Obviously that's not, that's a pretty big shadow that it has not been worked on, and they're obviously fighting some demons, and that that's not compatible with you. You do not want that. But other people's, like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like you cannot go into a relationship expecting that a person is going to be positive and light and happy and joy and good all the time. We are human. We have dark sides. That is how it is. And you have to understand there has to be balance between the two. You can't be too far in one, too far in the other. It's about healthy shadow work and healthy coping mechanisms to the shadow, and doing what you need to do to heal that shadow if you find that it's getting out of control. Therapy, healthy coping mechanisms. Acceptance, bring it into balance. In the present. In the position of future, there is a heavy focus on the material, right? They're both pentacles. We have the Four of Pentacles and the Father of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles, again, is about kind of checks and balances in the world of the material, of finance, of wealth, abundance. Like, it's traditionally depicted as kind of a dude, like, holding all of his pentacles. It can be a little, like, kind of hoardy kind of energy, like, you do not want to give away any of your pentacles. You're kind of keeping it close to the vest. But this is really an energy of like stability to me. Like the Father of Pentacles, he's kicked back, he's relaxed, he is abundant, He is the boss. He has his pentacle and he is relaxing. Like he's chilling. Like he's like, yeah, I'm vibing. And we can kind of have that if we have our kind of material world under lock and key. We have it balanced. We aren't being too greedy or too stingy or giving too much. You know, I think that before we were healed, before we started to work on our shadow, we gave too much. We gave too much away. I know I did. Sorry, my dog started losing it at something that's going on outside. If you hear him barking or hoofing in the background, I apologize. You know, before we were healed, we just gave away too much. People took advantage of us because our shadow we weren't working on healing our shadow, and they weren't working on healing theirs, and it just became completely unbalanced, right? The scales were uneven, so we gave away too much. So now that we have learned that, we have been very like, mine. Like, I'm not going to share this with anyone because I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want anyone to take what I have again. You know, we've been doing a lot of self-work, a lot of healing. And now that we've kind of done that work, we're afraid to let anyone in. So instead of being like that, instead of being very like, you know, like everything pulled in, this is all mine, I don't want to share it with anybody, not because I don't want to share, but because I'm afraid to get hurt again, we need to know that we are protected, abundant, wealthy. We have it all, and it's okay to relax and kind of you don't necessarily have to let other people in, but it's okay to not be as scared, right? This is scarcity mindset. We don't want to be there. We don't want to be in that scarcity mindset because maybe we've had someone kind of take stuff away from us, or we've had times in our life where, you know, we've overgiven, or not even necessarily we overgave, but someone took, right? Takers will find givers, and givers, unfortunately, will be taken advantage of by takers. And it's very hard to find that balance. And when you've been through that, it's very easy to become like very closed off. I know I speak from experience, but we don't need to be like that. And I'm kind of calling myself out here. We need to open ourselves up and know that we are abundant and that we are protected and we have everything we need. We're working on our shadow. We are balanced, and it's okay to relax, to not be so like if you hold on to something too tight, you're going to break it. There's a picture of like, you know, a rope wrapped around someone's hand, like you're holding on so tight, the rope is cutting into your hand, it's causing pain, it's cutting off your circulation. It's not doing you any good. Start to let go, and you'll be like, oh, it's actually not as painful now. It's actually a little bit easier. I don't have to hold on to this so tight to make sure it doesn't go away. It's not going to go away. It's there. It's safe. It's protected. And then, of course, the Emperor, Empress. Again, duality. You can't think all from the brain, the head. You can't think all from the heart, from love. You have to balance out those energies. You have to have both, right? If you were a giver, the reason why you ended up probably is because you were so deep into thinking with your heart, and I just love this person, I want to give. Now we have the balance, and we have learned our lessons that we can think from both. It does not make you a bad person to not give everything away. It does not make you a bad person to have boundaries. It does not make you a bad person to, you know, have balance and to be just aware, right? Aware of yourself, aware of others. You know, you're just kind of, again, like weighing things out equally, coming from a place of both head and heart, not overtly one or the other. Like, you can feel for people, you can feel for things, you can tap into your heart energy as well as you can tap into your intellect, and you know what's best for you and you know what's not best for you, and that comes from having balance between these two things. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but we kind of get it, right? We see all the duality and the healing, and that we have to have both energies here. So let's see if we can clarify with this oracle deck who's going to come out. Take a deep breath for me. I love it. Well, on the bottom of the deck, we have Beware Nostalgia, and I think it's funny that these kind of parallel each other, right? The Six of Cups is nostalgia, and this card is like beware nostalgia. You can get too far deep into the Six of Cups. You can get too far deep into the living in the past, into the, well, things used to be this way, they're not anymore. So as much as we can heal the past and we can find good in the past and focus on the good things that happened, you can't get trapped there. You can't get trapped living in the past. So just a little warning to not get trapped in the toxicity of nostalgia. That's also what keeps us in toxic relationships, right? Is like maybe at one point it was good. It was good, but now it's not. So get rid of it. Over in the position of past, over the Six of Swords and the Ace of Cups, life is beautiful. Life is meaningful. This card is about finding the beauty and meaning in life. Again, turning your swords into flowers. That Ace of Cups energy, it's all right here. Like finding the beauty and the flowers in the swords. Healing through emotion. It sounds weird, but like, I don't know why my brain is saying like crying tears of happiness. Like we think of crying always as like a sad thing or an angry thing, but you can cry tears of happiness if we're tapping into that Ace of Cups. I'm going to read for you the meaning of this card from the author, from the creator of this deck, if I can find it. Until whatever great beyond comes to claim us, we are here in a life abundant with beauty and meaning for those who dare to see and make it. Have you ever noticed that it's precisely when hearts are most desperate that these tiny offerings are slipped under the door? Again, until whatever great beyond comes to claim us, we are here in a life abundant with beauty and meaning for those who dare to see it and make it. Have you ever noticed that it's precisely when hearts are most desperate that these tiny offerings are slipped through the door? It's focusing on the tiny things, right? This little letter, these feathers, the small things that make you happy, the small things that make life beautiful and meaningful. That's how we go from swords to flowers. I'm trying to think of like an example. I don't know. It's just like, okay, so last night I had a crystal delivered actually from the creator of these decks, and it's an Elmwood calcite, very powerful crystal, very beautiful crystal. I don't have it here with me, but it's amazing. And I was freaking out because it said my package was delivered and it wasn't at my front door. It was not in my mailbox. It wasn't my patio. I was like, oh my God, it's like someone took it, blah. Somehow they delivered it to in front of my garage. I went on a walk with my dogs and I found the package in front of my garage, and I was like, weird place to put a package, but okay. And the card that I pulled was from, so the creator of this deck, in their business, they put a card in every box when you order something. And the card that I pulled was Miracle Mile, which is, you know, moving forward, happy days, getting in your car and kind of driving forward, very like the Chariot energy. And even though I went through the chaos of being like, oh my God, where's my package? Somebody stole it, and like, you know, I was able to find meaning and beauty when I finally got my package, and it was the most beautiful crystal ever. Like I opened up that package and was just like taken aback by the beauty of this crystal, and then the card was in it. And, you know, I could have let the fact that like, I thought someone stole my package. I was panicking. I could have let that kind of ruin my day, but instead I was just like, just so happy and grateful, and like found the beauty and the meaning in it. And it was funny because like, if you know about Elmwood, it's like kind of like, what's that other crystal that causes a bunch of chaos? Moldavite. And I was like, it's so funny that they delivered it to my garage, like so randomly, like definitely Elmwood energy. And I was able to find kind of the beauty and the meaning in that little tiny moment. And, you know, instead of panicking and being in my swords energy and being like, oh my God, and like getting mad at the male person or whatever, I kind of was able to turn that into a flower and be happy and find beauty and find meaning in that. I know it's a silly example, but that was the first thing that came to mind. This second card is Carrier Weather, and this is over the Two of Cups and Justice. And this is exactly what I was talking about. You have to be able to carry your shadow as well as your happiness. You can see this person is carrying rainbows and sunshine and also the storm. You have to have both. This is over Justice. This is over the Two of Cups. You have to have both. You cannot have one or the other. You cannot have one without the other. You have to be able to carry both. Let's see what the author has to say about this one. Excuse me. An urging to consider the impact of your energy. Ever-changing but omnipresent, your state of being creates a ripple in every ecosystem you enter. You cannot always control the nature of this influence, but profound self-recognition can occur by taking responsibility for it. Accounting for your weather is a form of mastery. I'm going to read that last part again. You cannot always control the nature of this influence, but profound self-recognition can occur by taking responsibility for it. Accounting for your weather is a form of mastery. There's a quote that says, it may not have been your fault, but it is your responsibility. When you're healing, when you're going through shadow work, we cannot fault ourselves for the trauma that has been done to us, but it is up to us to carry it, right? It is up to you to carry it and to work on that shadow. And then we have no vacancy over the Four of Pentacles and the Father of Pentacles. And I feel like, again, this, honestly, the no vacancy is the Four of Pentacles. You're like, nope, I don't want anybody here. I am not vacant for these energies. But it is kind of a warning, too, that we don't want to be this, like, creepy, like, shack in the woods, right? We don't want to be vacant. We don't want to be unavailable for the rest of forever. I'm going to read this to you. The portal is now closed on a memory that once offered nostalgia. Six of Cups. Beware nostalgia, comfort, and fond feelings. This empty but no longer vacant space is uninhabitable even to your imagination. The land of the living is knocking and knocking and ticking and talking, inviting you back, demanding your presence. While bittersweet, outgrowing old vices, the past being one of the most enticing of them all, is a step towards liberation and maybe even eternal bliss too. A promise to the haunted and heartbroken that you will be gone soon from this place and it from you. While bittersweet, again, I'll read it again. Outgrowing old vices is a step towards liberation and maybe even eternal bliss too. A promise to the haunted and heartbroken that you will soon be gone from this place and it from you. This is how we feel after we've gone through trauma and we've had takers take and shit happens. We have no vacancy for anything. It is haunted. It is scary. We don't want to be this. But it is tempting to go back into that, right? To go into that Four of Pentacles mode, to not let anybody in, to just be shut off. But beware the nostalgia of getting pulled back into the past, of being pulled back into that haunted house. It's going to be gone soon. This energy is going to be gone soon. And we're going to have that Father of Pentacles, carefree, abundant, live in the dream energy. That is all I have, my friends. I mean, it was a very clear reading. All the duality, right? We just got every sign of duality here. I hope that you have a wonderful full moon. I do offer personal readings. If you'd like, you can purchase them through my website. Again, I have retreats, I have courses, I have a membership, I have all the things. And I will always offer free stuff here on YouTube as well. I hope you join me in the new year. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. If you haven't joined the membership already, join the membership. I got some really awesome stuff planned for the new year. Find some beauty, find some meaning in your life, the little things. Turn those swords into flowers and find balance and duality. And that's all I got to say about this Gemini full moon. I hope it goes well. I hope you can sail through the chaos. And I will see you for our last new moon before the end of the year, my lovelies. So have a wonderful full moon, and I'll see you next time.